my friends. Thanks for joining me for our first Swap and Sew video. It's hashtag swap and sew. And this is an open collaboration, and it is hosted by me, Creating with Jovi, and by Carol of Carol's Recrafted Boutique. If you would like to participate in the August Swap and Sew, simply go to one of our community tabs and comment and read everybody else's comments to see if you might like to pair up with them. Today, what I'm going to do is create some items that I'm hopeful will work in a new journal that I'm working on. The journal is an Alice in Wonderland journal, and I am using a kit which was created by Line.Arrow. And then the fabrics, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the beginning of the video. These fabrics were given to me by my friend Carol at Carol's Recrafted Boutique, the co-host of this collaboration. I've already done, I guess, what we call an unboxing of the fabrics that Carol had sent to me. And if I remember to, I will link that video in my description box. So I'm not going to be going through all of the fabrics. I'm just going to be picking ones that I feel like go with these papers that are at the top of my screen, and just, pulling the ones that I think I might want to work with today. This particular Alice journal, because the color palette in the kit is pretty light and bright, in this particular kit, I want to keep the colors also light and bright. Now there is blue, so look at that. Look how cute that is. Now that I've picked out the colors of the fabrics that I can make something out of for my future project, now I think we have to look at them and decide, what are we doing? What can we make? So if I'm going to use materials in a journal, I generally will use them as hinges. I will use material in clusters. Oh, I use them in ruffles. That's a great idea, actually. Let's see, what else do we use fabrics for? Belly bands, right? This would be a large belly band, but it is definitely a possibility. So now I guess I just have to decide what I want to do and what combinations I'm going to use to do it. This right here would be a super cute pocket. And again, I know there's not a lot of red in this journal, but I think there's enough that we can get away with it if it's done correctly. So let's start with our heart. We're just playing here so we can figure out what it is that we want to do. Okay, my friends, I didn't like the way that this looked with the fabrics that I chose, so I went back into my pile of goodies that Carol gave me, and I decided that I think this would look pretty stinking cute on here, and then this can be cut into either a short pocket, or I'll start by leaving it long. I can always cut it down. So what I'll do is I'm going to sew this onto here, and then this could be a larger pocket, like a big slide pocket, or it could be a little one right here, or it could actually do both things. It could have a little one and then a big slide one. All right, now I'm going to go sew these together. Here is our first completed swap and sew project. I love the way that this came together. The top here can be used as a pocket, and then if the whole thing is put on paper, paper can slide right in the side. I might end up trimming that edge off there, but I also could leave it and have it like a little embellishment that hangs over the edge of the page of the journal. All right, so looking at the next piece of paper of the kit that I'm working with for the Alice journal, I'm liking the way that this green fabric goes with it. So let's go ahead and work with this. Since this page has the flamingo on it, I'm going to go ahead and use this bright pink fabric as well, and I'm going to make a topper for this page. As you can see, I'm playing with the fabric. I'm kind of scrunching it up in different ways and just figuring out how I want to sew it. I've decided I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew a line right in the center. Now I'm just going to trim off my little, excess pieces here, and now we're going to go ahead and layer it. So let's see how it looks on top of this nice shiny green fabric. Well, I absolutely love that. And then I have a piece of the tassels that Carol had given me, and I think if I put these together, that will make a really pretty page topper. And then, we'll probably end up putting something underneath it. It might end up being a fabric flip, or I'm not sure yet. We're not there yet, but we will get that figured out. I'm definitely planning on using this piece in the first Alice in Wonderland journal that I do. Some of the other pieces that I'm making today, I may or may not use in this journal. I might use them in my next Alice in Wonderland journal. I'm going to do 2 of them because I want to make 2 different styles. And this one is going to be lighter and brighter, and then I want my next one to be a little bit more dramatic. So I have these wonderful flamingo buttons that many of you have sent to me in Happy Mail, and thank you for those. And I feel like since I want to use this piece on this particular page that you see on my table, Alice is holding a flamingo, so I thought it would be great for me to sew these buttons onto this piece that I've sewn together. Now, the piece that I've sewn together, you notice that I used the sewing machine for that, and then to get the buttons on, obviously I'm doing that by hand. I am getting ready to show you the finished piece, and I think it came out so cute. It is quirky and beautiful at the same time. All right, we are getting ready to start our second piece, and I think that what we're going to do with this one is we're going to layer the sort of mustard colored lace over top of the birds, And I feel like we are going to turn this into a belly band. I'm going to take these two pieces and an additional piece over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew it all together. Okay, I've got this all cleaned up, and now it is time to embellish it. So I think we'll go ahead and use some flowers. So I keep a lot of my flowers in my handy dandy mason jars. That way I can just grab them, dump them out on the table, see what I've got. And in this case, we are just going to see what matches with this particular project. Right off the bat, I found two yellow flowers that I really like. And then you saw I had an orange one in the center, but I'm trying out this paper one and I like the colors better, so I'm going to stick with that. And that paper flower in the center was given to me by my friend Melissa, and her channel is By Mimi with Love. I like the way this belly band has turned out, and if I don't end up using it in my Alice journals, in one of them, then this will definitely go in a boho journal. Since I'm on a roll, I feel like I want to make another piece with some of the fabrics that my friend Carol sent me, and I'm absolutely in love with this purple piece. And I really first was thinking I was going to end up using that strand of rhinestones that was on there, but then I thought I really want to work with these elephants, and definitely not even considering putting these in the Alice journal or journals. I'm definitely feeling like these will end up in a boho journal, which, you know, I have it on my to-do list. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but when I do, I will have a few pieces ready to go for it. So as you saw, I have some elephant material. I cut those in half, and I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try to make a ruffle. And here it is. How quick was that? I took the fabric over to my sewing machine and sewed it into a ruffle basically, and cleaning it up now, and we are going to go ahead and add some additional embellishments to it. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this elephant to it, and I took it to my sewing machine and I stitched it like in the corners and attached it to the ruffle, but just in the corners because I didn't want to sew a line through the elephant image. Really like to take the time to switch out my thread when I'm sewing these projects, because I would be switching out my thread constantly, and I'm not going to do that. So some of the thread on this project was a little bit light, so I just grabbed my purple marker and I'm coloring over it in the spots where it needs to be darker. Now, would it be faster for me to just switch out my thread rather than coloring it in? I don't know, but this is the route I'm taking. Okay, so here's the little piece of purple fabric that we cut from that other piece earlier in the video. And I went ahead and I took that over to my sewing machine and made the bottom hanging part ruffly. So I sewed that into a ruffle. And then I sewed the main piece, the sparkly piece that you see there, I sewed that onto the elephant piece. I hope all that makes sense. Now I'm going in with a marker and I'm just coloring in the areas on that thread from my sewing machine, just making it all blend. And here is the completed ruffle, and I think it is absolutely beautiful. Now friends, I'm starting on a third piece with the fabrics that Carol sent to me. Once I'm done with this one, we're going to go back through each one and add some additional embellishments if they need it. Now this particular piece that I'm putting together, I don't actually have a plan for it. So I'm just going to create a pretty piece and then I will have it in my stash, and then when I need it for a particular project, it'll be there waiting for me. I went ahead and I took it to my sewing machine and I sewed it right onto this pretty lace material. And now I'm just cutting that material down to size. And then once I'm finished cutting it down to size, I'm going to go ahead and grab some brown marker and I will color in the white stitches. Now let's head back over to the belly band and see if we want to add something. I went through my drawers, not my personal drawers, but the drawers in my my caddy that holds all my beads, and I picked out a few pieces that I thought maybe I could experiment with and work with. And I think I want this lizard on this belly band. This was given to me in a Happy Mail, I think, if I recall correctly, and I might not be, but I think this was given to me by my friend Maria at Maria's Miscellany. But if I'm wrong, please correct me. But it's really cool, and I just think it is perfect on this belly band. All right, now let's take a look at the elephant piece and see if there's anything that we want to add to this. We are going to hand sew that. It's a charm, and we're going to go ahead and hand sew that on. Before I could sew it on, I had to remove a jump ring that was hanging on it. Otherwise it wouldn't have, it wouldn't sit flat on the material. So I just went ahead, I grabbed my needle nose pliers and I removed that. And now I think I can sew it on properly. While I'm sewing that on there, I will take a few seconds to mention that the next upload for Swap and Sew is going to be the beginning of August, the beginning of August. So if you would like to participate, go ahead to my community tab and you can put a comment on there that says that you would like to swap for the August swap. And if you don't want to go to mine, that's fine. You can go over to Carol's at Carol Crafted Boutique. She also has a community tab with a post ready for people to read each other's comments and sign up and just have a good time swapping material and making fun and beautiful things. I have a bracelet that I went ahead and disassembled. It was kind of an interesting bracelet. I believe that it was gifted to me also. And I am taking it apart, as you can see here. And I'm just going to be taking two of the, I guess we might call them links from the bracelet. And I am going to attach that to the bottom left-hand side of this piece. So I think this piece ends up turning out really neat. We have a charm on there. Then we have the two pieces from the bracelet and they kind of dangle. And then on the right hand side of it, we have the beautiful piece with the rhinestones in it from that purple sari silk. So this is just, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now let's see if we can add any embellishments to this piece. So this piece might present a slight challenge because it has such a pretty sparkly embellishment like right in the center. So you know, you saw me try those other pieces on it and I didn't think that they really worked that well. So I'm going to play with this necklace and see what I think of that. I like this necklace. I think the color works really well with the fabrics that we have going on. So I am going to go ahead and take it apart so that I can use 3 of the large links or pieces on each side of this fabric piece. And I am just going to grab some thread and a needle and I'm going to hand stitch those on. I think this ends up turning out pretty neat. Not to say that I won't embellish it some more in the future. I probably will, but I'm not ready to do that right now because I don't know what kind of journal this is going to go in, but it does give me steampunk vibes. Friends, I'm really happy with how these turned out. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Please let me know if you enjoy craft alongs or not. And as always, thanks for watching. See you soon.